At Christmas dinner, my sister's kid said, "Mom says you'll never have a real family." My dad just nodded. I smiled. That night, I froze every streaming account on my card. By morning, she had called 36 times. When I answered, she screeched, "Why are you so selfish?" I got angry and cut her off. And then, you know those moments that start as mild annoyances and somehow spiral into something that rewrites the entire dynamic of your life? That was this past Christmas for me. I'm 42. No wife. No kids. No messy divorce or tragic backstory. I just like my peace. I've built a life that works for me. I run my own cybersecurity firm, work from wherever I want, travel when I feel like it, and I have enough saved that I could probably retire early if I ever get bored. I drive a black convertible because it makes me feel like I've earned something. And yet somehow, to my sister Dana, I'm the family disappointment. She married Trent when she was 23. They had Savannah a year later and Zoe 2 years after that. They bought a house they couldn't afford and upgraded it every time I upgraded anything in my life. Dana acts like she won the game of life by checking the right boxes at the right time, even though half the time she's calling me for help because Trent's latest business is underwater again. And still, I'm the failure. Why? Because I eat dinner alone sometimes? Christmas was at our parents' place, like it always is. Dana and her crew rolled in late, covered in snow, dragging bags of gifts none of them paid for. Trent nodded at me like we were equals. Savannah, now 14, lipped me up and down like I was something she'd scrape off her shoe. Zoe, younger but twice as smug, took a photo of my shoes and giggled. I already knew what kind of night it was going to be. Dinner started. Mom had made the same dry turkey she makes every year, and we all pretended it was fine. Dana was already talking about how Trent was working on a new startup, something about flavored vape filters that help you meditate. Sure. The girls were on their phones all through the prayer. Dana didn't say a word about it. My dad sat silently, sipping wine, pretending this was all perfectly normal. Trent kept trying to talk stocks with me, and when I didn't engage, he switched to telling Savannah to stop bullying her uncle. She didn't stop. Then, somewhere between passing the mashed potatoes and Dana launching into how I should freeze my eggs, yeah, she actually said that, Zoe looked up from her phone and asked, loud and clear, "Mom says you'll never have a real family." It got quiet. Like weirdly quiet. Even the clinking of silverware stopped. My mom's face went pale. Savannah giggled. Dana didn't even flinch. She kept cutting her turkey and said, without even looking at me, "Kids repeat everything, don't they?" My dad, the one who used to take me camping and coach my Little League games, nodded like she was absolutely right. Like the kid had just said something brave and profound. I didn't respond. I just smiled. That smile stayed plastered on my face while I helped Mom clear the dishes, while I hugged everyone goodbye like nothing had happened, and even when Zoe took a picture of me next to my car and said to Savannah, "Watch, he's gonna cry in his convertible." That night, I got home, poured myself a glass of scotch, sat down at my desk, and opened every account I'd ever set up for Dana and her family. Netflix. Gone. Hulu. Gone. Disney Plus. HBO Max, Spotify family plan. Even the Amazon Prime that she uses to send gifts for birthday parties. Locked. Then I went into the lake house Wi-Fi router remotely, and changed the password to something no one in that house would ever guess. For fun, I renamed the Wi-Fi to Family Sham. Blocked her number. Went to bed. By morning, 36 missed calls. 4 voicemails from Dana. 3 from Trent. 2 from my mom. And a string of messages from Savannah calling me. Extra. I picked up on the next call. Dana didn't even say hello. "Why are you so selfish?" Not a question. An accusation? Like I'd taken something from her that was always rightfully hers. I told her I was done. That they weren't my responsibility. That I wouldn't be enabling their mess anymore. That I didn't owe her daughters anything, especially when they treated me like a joke. I told her she could tell Zoe that yes, I may not have a real family, but I do have real boundaries now. And money. And peace. I hung up before she could say anything else. And that was just the beginning. Dana didn't take me seriously at first. She never has. After that call, she sent me a 4-paragraph text that started with, "Wow," and ended with, "Enjoy being alone forever." I didn't reply. She followed it with a picture of Zoe crying, with the caption, "Happy now?" Like I was supposed to feel guilty because the kid who mocked me to my face was sad about losing access to Frozen 2 and their Spotify playlist. That silence I gave her? It hit harder than anything I could have said. She's used to a version of me that no longer exists. The Alex who fixed broken tablets for her girls at midnight. The Alex who paid for groceries. Just this once, when Trent's account had mysteriously overdrafted again. The Alex who let Dana make snide comments in front of the family without pushing back, because I thought keeping the peace was worth more than my pride. That version of me died the moment Zoe opened her mouth at that dinner table. By the end of that week, Dana started doing what Dana always does when she doesn't get her way. She weaponized the family. My aunt called asking what this feud was about. My cousin Rachel sent a DM that said, "Whatever happened, you guys should talk it out." It was clear Dana was painting me as the dramatic, bitter bachelor who'd finally snapped because he didn't have a wife and kids to pour his love into. I didn't explain myself to anyone. I didn't have to. Because a funny thing happens when you stop defending yourself. People start noticing things they'd ignored for years. Like how Dana and Trent never paid for anything at reunions. Or how their girls acted like they were influencers, not kids. Or how I was always the one footing the bill for things no one remembered I'd even paid for. Trent messaged me in mid-January. Not to apologize. No, he opened with, "Hey bro, totally get where you're coming from. But any chance you could just hook the girls up with Disney Plus again? They're struggling." Struggling. He used that word like they'd lost a limb, not a streaming service. I didn't answer. Just left him on read. A few days later, Dana started calling my mom every night. I know this because my mom, who has always been the middle ground in our family, started calling me every morning. At first it was subtle, asking how I was. Then she started suggesting I take the high road and set an example. And eventually she just asked me directly, "Can you please help them out just a little? They're having a rough time." That's when I found out Trent's newest business, the meditation vape thing, had already tanked. He'd taken out a $20,000 loan against their house. Dana had no idea until the bills showed up. They were 3 months behind on their mortgage. One of the girls' iPads had already been sold. Their Wi-Fi got cut off for a week. And Savannah, who once rolled her eyes at my shoes, started posting Instagram stories about how hard it is to have everything ripped away. No mention of how it got ripped away, of course. I saw one story where she posted a screenshot of my car from an old vacation photo, with the caption, "Some people think money makes them better than others." She tagged me. I replied with a single comment. "Some people think using others makes them untouchable." She deleted the post in less than 2 minutes. Trent got a job at a local hardware store. Night shift. Savannah started working weekends at a smoothie place downtown. So he started tutoring online to help pay for her phone plan. And Dana, she quietly listed half their living room furniture on Facebook Marketplace, claiming they were redecorating. Sure. By February, Dana cracked. She called again. This time her voice was soft, like she was trying to be someone she hadn't been in years. She said she didn't want to fight anymore. That things were hard. That she missed me. That the girls missed me too. I asked her what she missed exactly. There was this silence, not the kind where someone's thinking. The kind where someone realizes they don't have a good answer. That's when it all clicked. She didn't miss me. She missed what I did for them. The stability. The convenience. The free ride. I told her I wished them well. That I wasn't going to be part of their lives unless they actually changed. And this time, not just words, action. Consistency. Respect. She tried to say something. I hung up before she could. That week, I booked a solo trip to Aspen. Drove there with the top down, cold air in my lungs, and not a single call from anyone I didn't want to hear from. Dana's perfect life was cracking. Not because I destroyed it, but because I stopped holding it up. And I was just getting started. 2 weeks after Aspen, I got a call from Mom. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail saying Dana was really going through it. And could I please just call her? Just hear her out. I didn't. I knew exactly what it would be. A tearful apology soaked in manipulation, ending with some version of, "Can you help us just this once?" Instead, I scrolled through Facebook. Dana had posted a photo of Zoe sitting on a cheap plastic stool in their half-empty living room with the caption, "Minimalist living is the future." Comments were full of sympathy from people who didn't know the backstory. One of her friends even wrote, "You've always been such a strong woman. Keep rising." Strong? Strong would have been admitting she was wrong. Strong would have been apologizing to my face instead of hiding behind fake captions and sad filters. But no, Dana would rather burn the house down than admit she left the oven on. That week, Trent showed up at my office. I work out of a small rented space in a tech building downtown. No receptionist. Just a locked door and a quiet lobby. He must have followed me there, because I never gave him the address. He knocked twice, then again, louder. I opened it just enough to see his face. He looked thinner. Tired. Like someone who hadn't had a full night's sleep in weeks. Said he wanted to talk. Man to man. I didn't invite him in. He stood in the doorway, shifting on his feet, and said Dana was breaking down at home. That the girls were begging to know why. Uncle Alex hates them. That Dana was scared. That everything was falling apart faster than they could fix it. Then he said something that actually surprised me. He said, "I know we've been leeches. I know you carried more than you should have. I never said thank you. And I don't blame you for cutting us off." I didn't say anything. Then he added, "But if you let her drown completely, she won't come back from it. And the girls, they don't deserve this." I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Neither did I." Then I closed the door. 3 days later, my mom called again. I finally answered. She didn't even say hello. Just went straight into it. Dana's applying for food assistance. Their mortgage lender sent a foreclosure warning. The girls are embarrassed to go to school. And Trent's been asking the neighbors if they know of any work. She said Dana wasn't eating. That she cried every night. I listened. Then I asked her one question. "Do you remember last Christmas? When Zoe said I'd never have a real family? And no one corrected her?" My mom went quiet. Then she said, "I remember. And I'm sorry for not saying something then." I said, "That's the only apology I needed." And then I ended the call. That weekend, I got a handwritten letter in my mailbox. It wasn't mailed, it was dropped off. Folded twice. No envelope. It was from Savannah. She wrote that she didn't understand why I was so cold at first, but now she got it. She said Dana had told them for years that I was lonely, and weird, and selfish with money. That I chose work over family. Savannah admitted she believed all of it because they never saw me fight back. She apologized. She asked if we could talk. Just once. I didn't reply right away. But I didn't throw the letter out either. The damage was done. The fall had happened. But the dust was still settling, and for the first time in years, I had a clear view of the wreckage. And I was standing far enough away to know I didn't have to run in and rescue anyone. Not anymore. A week went by after Savannah's letter. I didn't write back. I didn't throw it out either. It sat in the drawer next to my bed, folded neatly, as if waiting for a decision I hadn't made yet. Something about the way she wrote it, not polished, not smug, just real, made it hard to ignore. But I wasn't ready to hand out forgiveness like it came with a receipt. Then something happened I hadn't expected. Late Friday night, I got a message from my building's front desk. Someone dropped off a package for me. No delivery service, no return address. Just my name printed on a label with neat, careful handwriting. Inside was a small brown box filled with old photographs. Real ones. Not digital prints, not screen grabs, actual photos from years ago. Some I hadn't seen since I was a teenager. Family beach trips, birthdays, cookouts. A few were even of me holding Savannah and Zoe when they were still toddlers. There was one of me and Dana sitting on the curb outside our parents' house, popsicles in hand, both of us sunburned and laughing. Taped to the lid was a yellow sticky note, written in Dana's handwriting. "Didn't know you kept these. Didn't know I'd want them back someday." There was no apology. No explanation. No. "Please talk to me." Just that one line. I didn't know how to feel. Part of me thought it was a move. Dana's always been good at sentimental manipulation when she runs out of logical ground to stand on. But part of me wondered if maybe, just maybe, she was realizing something. Maybe she was starting to see what she'd actually done. The next day, on impulse, I drove by their house. First time in years. I almost didn't recognize it. The paint was fading, the porch railing was loose, and the yard looked like it hadn't been mowed in weeks. A handmade, for sale by owner, sign was stuck into the lawn. Not a realtor sign. That was the red flag. Later that night, I found the listing online. The photos were terrible. The price? Way below market value. The caption said, "Motivated seller? All reasonable offers considered." So I made one. Cash. No inspection, no contingencies. I didn't even go inside. I just bought it. Not to live in it. Not to flip it. I bought it because I could. Because it was the one thing Dana had always used to prop herself up. Her home. Her fortress. The proof that she had won at life. And now, it was mine. The moment the deal closed, I had the locks changed. 3 days later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Dana. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. Her voice was thin, flat. Just one question. "You bought our house?" I didn't say anything. Then she asked, "Why?" Still nothing. She paused for a long time, then said, "We don't have anywhere to go." I told her I could refer her to a property manager I trust. She could ask him about renting, like anyone else. Full market rate. No family discount. No favors. She didn't argue. She didn't beg. She just said okay and hung up. That night I got an email. Subject line, "I understand." No message. Just a PDF attachment. It was a letter. Typed. Signed. In it, Dana admitted everything. Not just what happened this year, all of it. She said she knew for years how cruel she had been. That she used her kids to shield herself from accountability. That she told them I was selfish because it made her feel better about being dependent. She said she used to take comfort in the idea that one day I'd regret not having a family, that I'd end up alone, bitter, and reaching out for help. But instead, here she was. Broke. Desperate. Disconnected from the very stability she mocked. She wrote, "I thought I had the life you were missing out on. Now I see I just borrowed it. And I don't get to be angry at the bank for collecting." She didn't ask for forgiveness. Just ended the letter with, "I won't ask you to fix what I broke. But I'll still try to deserve better than your silence." I closed the email. Sat there for a long time. Not angry. Not satisfied. Just still. Because for the first time in my life, Dana told the truth. And maybe that would have meant more years ago. But now I was just one step from finishing what I started. The house sat empty for 2 weeks after the sale. I didn't put it up for rent right away. I didn't clean it. I didn't even visit. I just let it sit there, quiet and hollow, like a physical reminder of what happens when you spend your whole life stepping on people and thinking no one will ever step back. I didn't hear from Dana after the letter. Not a word. Not a text. It was the longest stretch of silence from her in years. At first I assumed it was just another tactic. Hold back, build suspense, reel me in. But the silence held. And that alone made me think maybe she'd finally realized she wasn't in control anymore. Then, one night I got a message from Trent. Just one line. She applied for a job at the diner near the highway. I read it 3 times. Dana, the woman who once bragged about being too good for low-wage labor, was now applying for a job that paid hourly, under fluorescent lights, serving truckers and old men who tip and change. I didn't feel bad. I felt still. Like I was watching something that had been held together with duct tape finally come undone. A few days later, Savannah messaged me. No begging, no shade, just asked if I could meet her at a park near their school. She said she wanted to talk, and if I didn't come, she'd understand. I sat on it for 2 days before I finally agreed. We met on a gray, overcast afternoon. She was sitting on a bench, hood up, earbuds out. When she saw me, she stood. No smile. No attitude. Just there. She handed me a small envelope. Inside was a note, handwritten again. It said, "I used to think you were the weird uncle who didn't get life. Now I think you're the only one who ever did. I'm sorry for how I acted. And I don't expect you to forget it. But if you ever decide we're allowed to earn you back, I'll be first in line. She didn't stick around after that. Just nodded once and walked away. No theatrics. No rehearsed monologue. Just quiet. And something shifted in me. That night, I made my decision. I called Dana. She picked up after 2 rings. Her voice sounded like she hadn't spoken all day. I told her I was going to renovate the house. Rent it out. Not to her. Not to anyone she knows. But I'd let her take what was left inside. No cost. No strings. Then I told her one more thing. There would be a reunion. Spring. At my place. Everyone invited. But this time, it'd be on my terms. She didn't ask what that meant. Maybe she was too tired. Or maybe she already knew. Because she didn't say yes. She didn't say no. She just said, okay. The reunion was at my place, late spring, just like I said. Big backyard, catered food, quiet music, everything clean and deliberate. No chaos, no last-minute scrambling like Dana's events always were. This wasn't about showing off. It was about control, my space, my rules, my terms. Family arrived slowly. Some awkward hellos. No one mentioned the drama. No one needed to. Then they showed up. Dana, Trent, Savannah, and Zoe. 1 car. Dented minivan. No jewelry. No fake smiles. They looked like people who'd been living life in lowercase lately. Dana kept her distance at first. Savannah gave me a short nod. Zoe looked embarrassed to be there. Trent said nothing. Fine. Eventually, Dana came over. Quietly. Thanks for letting us come. That was it. I nodded. Walked away. The day went on. Food, photos, small talk. Zoe helped clean up. Savannah actually made eye contact. Trent stood back, watching everything. Like he finally understood who I really was. Before they left, Dana handed me an envelope. No speech. No attempt at closure. Just the envelope. Later that night I opened it. It was a short letter. Honest. Said she knew she'd destroyed the bridge. That respect wasn't automatic. That she'd poisoned her daughters against me because it made her feel less like she was failing. That she was trying now, not for my forgiveness, but because she finally saw what it cost her. No begging. No manipulation. Just quiet truth. And for the first time, I didn't feel bitter. I didn't feel victorious either. I just felt done. They're not back in my life. But the door? It's cracked. Maybe. On my terms.